division's preparation for battle must be extensive and comprehensive. We must know as much as possible about the enemy and the terrain on which the battle will be fought. This knowledge can be provided by a well-organized intelligence organization. Combat intelligence assists commanders with the planning and conduct of operations. Its scope includes the timely determination of the enemy's location, activities, capabilities, and intentions within the commander's area of interest. The combat intelligence cycle is a continuous process involving the direction, collection, and processing of information and the dissemination of intelligence. Prior to the commencement of an operation, G2 has prepared an intelligence estimate which is utilized by the commander in deciding his optimum course of action. The estimate includes an assessment of the terrain and the enemy's capabilities which might affect the division's mission, and finishes with a listing of the enemy's most probable course of action. It is developed from all available intelligence and information sources and is written from the enemy's point of view. The original estimate and forecasts of the enemy's capability and intentions are under continuous review and revision. This process leads to further information requirements, amendments to the intelligence collection plan, production of new intelligence, and further reassessments. In ongoing operations, the stages overlap and coincide, so they are all occurring simultaneously. In addition to assisting in the formulation of the commander's plan, the intelligence estimate identified various areas of uncertainty which require specific pieces of background information to resolve. These areas are redefined into general intelligence collection requirements, the most critical of which become the commander's priority intelligence requirements. These PIRs are used by the G2 estimates and the Intelligence Collection and Analysis Center to determine specific items of information regarding the enemy and his environment which need to be collected and processed to meet the requirement of the commander's plan. These items form the basis of the G2's intelligence collection plan, which tasks all of the division's ground, air, and electronic information collectors in accordance with the collection priorities established by G3. The plan is disseminated through the intelligence annex of the division operations order. The intelligence responsibilities within the division are divided between staff and line elements. The G2 staff is responsible for advising the commander on all intelligence matters relating to enemy locations, strength, and capabilities for the dissemination of intelligence within the division and an ongoing assessment of the enemy's probable intentions. In addition, they also deal with all unit and divisional staff requests for intelligence support and coordinate intelligence tasking and information collection with flanking units. On the other hand, the intelligence company is involved in something quite different. That is the collection and analysis process. The role of the division intelligence company is to acquire, analyze, and exploit tactical information procured from its own imagery and from human sources, as well as collating data collected by all division resources. The intelligence company personnel complement total 138 personnel of all ranks. Its equipment includes 50 vehicles with associated trailers and generators. It is organized into a headquarters, an intelligence collection and analysis center, an imagery exploitation platoon, an interrogation platoon, and a counterintelligence platoon. The company headquarters contains the command element, 2 signals sections, one for communications and the other for automatic data processing, a logistics section, a medical team, and a vehicle repair team. The headquarters deploys within 5 kilometers of the division main headquarters. It is self-supporting for daily maintenance and looks after its own local defense. The Division Intelligence Collection and Analysis Center deploys with the company headquarters. It is normally located with the main Electronic Warfare Coordination Center and is interconnected with the division main headquarters by secure data and communications links. Throughout the division, various specialist elements are responsible for collection, processing, and storage of specific information within the division's area of interest. The Icac receives and analyzes this raw information as well as intelligence from other sources. It also produces source intelligence by conducting detailed collection and sensor management in accordance with the G2's Division Collection Plan priorities. The Icac headquarters monitors the division surveillance and collection activities, controls internal distribution of incoming data, controls and coordinates intelligence production and dissemination, and maintains a master intelligence map. The Ground Forces section collects, processes, and sorts information and intelligence on enemy ground forces. The Air Defense section collects and stores information and intelligence on enemy air and air defense forces. The Hostile Intelligence and Surveillance Activities section collects and stores information and intelligence on the activities of enemy agents. The Terrain Intelligence section collects and processes terrain data from within the division's area of influence to determine the terrain's potential effect on enemy operations. The Meteorology section provides weather forecasts for operations. Also incorporated in the Icac are engineer and artillery intelligence cells, which provide specialized analytical capabilities and access to their respective collection sources. The Imagery Exploitation Platoon is tasked to exploit all available imagery. This includes the pressing, printing, interpretation of conventional air photos, and remotely piloted vehicle and drone imagery. The Interrogation Platoon consists of a small headquarters and 4 interrogation teams. It is tasked to acquire information from prisoners of war and from refugees. The teams operate in conjunction with the military police at the Division Prisoner of War cage and at main refugee checkpoints. The Counterintelligence Platoon, when detached from the Corps Intelligence Battalion, identifies and neutralizes agents of hostile intelligence and surveillance services. It controls and coordinates counterintelligence activities and processes and disseminates counterintelligence information. Counterintelligence teams may be either attached individually to brigades or can be grouped under centralized control. In accordance with G2's needs, the Icac searches for information with the most appropriate resource. Taskings are issued through the Icac to the Electronic Warfare Control Center, to the RPV Control Organization, to Air Reconnaissance Organizations, and to other elements. These satisfy new collection requirements, clarify existing intelligence, and confirm or deny other concurrent reports. Division-level collectors report their material directly to the Icac, where it is processed into intelligence. The finished intelligence is then passed to the G2 staff. The G2, in his turn, sifts out the relevant data needed by the commander and formations within their own areas of interest. G2 decides what will be forwarded on to the user and by what means. Concurrently, the brigade staff are developing their own intelligence collection plan based on their area of interest and the requirements detailed in the Division Intelligence Annex. These requirements are passed down to units and battle groups who plan and execute their taskings within the limits stipulated by the Brigade G3. As contacts with the enemy are made, reports are passed back to battalion headquarters. The battalion intelligence staff log and collate these battlefield reports prior to passing them on to the Brigade G2. At Brigade, the G2 staff log all contacts and incoming data, as well as pertinent information received over the radio nets. They prepare new intelligence reports and traces which are passed down to units and on up to division. In addition to the flow from below, information and intelligence continue to arrive at division headquarters from flanking and higher formations, which is passed on to the Icac. The now constant flow of information received at the Icac is collated, processed, and used to update the G2's database. Critical items of intelligence or information are quickly disseminated by the G2 staff by means of SITREPs, INTREPs, counterintelligence INTREPs and summaries, INTSUMs, supplementary intelligence reports, tactical interrogation reports, imagery interpretation reports, intelligence estimates, intelligence briefings, enemy situation maps, photographs, ADP printouts and displays, and by the intelligence annex in the formation operations orders. As the tactical battle progresses, the G2 staff and the Icac constantly interact with each other and with collectors at all levels in maintaining the threat analysis picture. The cycle continues with the G2 estimates preparing new requirements and directions for all collectors. G3 initiates follow-on taskings, and the Icac is constantly collating, evaluating, analyzing, and interpreting information and converting it into intelligence. With the initial definition of the intelligence needed by the commander, the intelligence staff, using information resources, starts to collect information through the division's resources. The collected data is constantly analyzed and updated with new data as the battle develops. The timely dissemination of intelligence ensures that all elements of the division are armed with the critical information necessary to win their part of the ongoing battle. The following attachment is included for in-depth study purposes. Summarizing the Icac G2 relationship. The initial intelligence requirement is established and coordinated by G2 and approved by the commander. Both the Icac and the G2 staff establish the periodic intelligence requirements. These are coordinated by G2 based on needs of the brigades and the various division staff cells. The G2 staff approves all intelligence requirements, establishes intelligence collection priorities and tasking direction, which are approved by the commander and coordinated with the Commander Division Artillery and the EWCC on advice from the Icac. The Icac does the detailed intelligence collection management and taskings. It collects all data in consultation with G2, produces finished intelligence, and prepares all intelligence reports. And G2 approves and disseminates finished intelligence assessments to the commander, brigades, and various staff cells.